Let's be honest. The modern man is confused. He's told to be nice and soft, understanding, to always listen, always accommodate, always yield. But deep down, he sees the truth, that the men women submit to don't play by those rules. They're not aggressive, they're not controlling, but they're decisive, emotionally grounded, unmoved by games. They trigger something ancient in the female brain. Something most women will never admit, but they feel it, deeply, helplessly. Today, we uncover the 10 forbidden psychological triggers that cause women to submit, not out of fear, not out of weakness, but out of raw, instinctive respect. And as always, this isn't about manipulation, it's about mastery. And from a Stoic lens, it's about clarity, strength, and self-command. Let's begin. Part 1. Emotional imperturbability, aka unshakable calm. A woman will say she wants honesty, vulnerability, openness, but in moments of chaos. It's the man who stays calm that earns her submission, not the one who yells, not the one who pleads, the one who doesn't flinch when she tests, provokes, or withdraws. Why does this work? Because deep in her subconscious, she associates emotional control with leadership, and leadership is magnetic. A Stoic man knows you cannot control the storm, but you can control your response. Silence, stillness, and presence in chaos is one of the most forbidden, powerful triggers in the female mind. Part 2. Delayed attention. You don't text her back right away. You don't chase her validation. You respond, but in your own time, on your own terms. And suddenly, she's leaning in. Why? Because the moment you remove instant gratification, you force her into reflection. Why hasn't he replied? Did I say something wrong? Is he losing interest? This isn't a game. It's your standard. You don't belong to you don't orbit her schedule. You belong to your mission. And nothing triggers feminine submission faster than a man who is rarely available but always valuable. Part 3. Controlled eye contact. Don't underestimate this, because most men look at women with hope, approval-seeking, neediness. But a man who holds eye contact, not aggressively, but steadily, grounded without blinking or fidgeting, makes a woman feel seen, exposed, magnetized. It tells her, I'm not intimidated by you. I don't need you to like me. I see you, and I still choose to lead. Controlled eye contact is silent dominance, and Stoicism teaches us, let your presence speak, not your noise. Part 4. Indifference to beauty. A beautiful woman walks in, men turn, stare, stumble over words, but not you. You treat beauty as normal, not rare. You speak to her like she's human, not a goddess. You compliment her mind, her choices, but never her looks first. This disorients her, because most men give power to beauty. But Stoic men, they see through it. You don't worship the surface. You honor the soul, if it earns your respect. And this subtle defiance triggers her deepest hunger, to earn your admiration. Part 5. Intellectual challenge. She's so hot, I better agree with everything she says. Wrong. The man she submits to is the one who challenges her thoughts, not disrespectfully, not to argue, but to explore, to sharpen, to stretch her mind past shallow talk. A woman is stimulated by a man who's not afraid to debate her with respect, because it proves he's not trying to impress her. He's trying to elevate her. And that energy, that masculine mental firmness, it's irresistible. Part 6. Command of silence. Most men feel the need to talk, fill space, be charming, be liked. But the man she submits to knows when to be quiet, not cold, not passive. Powerfully silent, he listens, observes, waits, and when he finally speaks, it lands. Women instinctively trust a man who doesn't rush to speak, because silence is a display of internal security. Stoicism says, better to say nothing and be thought wise than to speak, and remove all doubt. Part 7. Refusal to entertain. Drama, she throws attitude, she tests, she storms off. And you don't react. You don't explain. You don't chase. You don't argue with chaos. You set the boundary calmly. When you're ready to speak with respect, I'm here. That's it. And she either levels up or she walks away. But here's the secret. When you refuse to feed feminine chaos, you earn feminine respect. Because deep down, every woman wants to know, can he handle me when I'm not at my best? A stoic man doesn't handle her. He commands himself. That's all she really needed to see. Part 8. Unapologetic standards. You don't date just anyone. You don't tolerate disrespect. You don't sleep with women who play games. And you say it clearly. Not in anger. Not in ego, just in truth. Women submit to men who filter, not to those who seek to be chosen. Because when you're the prize, you don't chase. You decide. She'll test it. She'll flirt with disrespect. She'll push. But when she sees that your standard is non-negotiable, she either submits to your world or returns to chaos. Either way, you remain grounded. Part 9. Stoic humor, detached, calm wit. She's sarcastic, teasing, maybe even poking at your masculinity. Most men get reactive, try to prove themselves, try to win back approval. But the stoic man, he smirks, throws back a calm, clever response, then moves on. This kind of humor, light but centered, shows her, you don't control my emotions. You don't get to define my value. Wit without weakness, playfulness without neediness. And when she sees that, she leans in every time. Part 10. Disappearing. After disrespect. This one is nuclear. She crosses a line, plays a game, or shows blatant disrespect, and you don't explain. You don't threaten. You simply disappear. No drama, no argument, just absence. And that absence says everything. I don't need closure. I don't argue for dignity. I won't be where I'm not respected. This is the ultimate trigger, because it turns the tables. It forces her to confront the cost of her behavior. And only a man who's mastered himself can walk away without noise. Stoicism at its core. Master yourself, and you trigger her nature. Let's be clear. You don't make a woman submit. You don't force. You don't beg. You become the kind of man she wants to submit to, at the level of instinct. Not because you raised your voice, not because you chased, but because you triggered something she couldn't explain, but couldn't ignore. You became the calm in her chaos, the mountain in her storm, the frame in which she could finally relax. And that, my brother, is not manipulation. That's masculine alignment. The stoic path is not about dominance. It's about internal command, emotional self-mastery, clear boundaries, and stillness that speaks louder than words. Trigger her not with tactics, but with presence. Because when you master you don't chase her submission, it finds you. If this resonated with you, share it with a man who's been stuck chasing attention instead of commanding respect. And remember, stay calm, stay centered, stay